Hey, it's Gabriel and welcome to WHY. So I was surfing the internet and I chanced upon this interview BBC granted Asamoah Gyan. And honestly, I had wanted to add it to my video, but I was afraid of copyright. And so if you've not watched that video yet, please do well to go and watch it on YouTube. And when you are done, you come back to my channel so I can tell you the reason why I think Asamoah Gyan might not be medically fit for Qatar 2022. Gabriel answers your questions, vlogs, entertains about stuff. He's full of fun, interviews, and talks about medical school. The question still remains, what would a doctor do? Well, I agree with you when you tell me Asamoah Gyan is very old. Around 36 years, and he's very old, trust me. But there were some players who were equally older than Asamoah Gyan, but still they were good at what they do. The likes of Paolo Maldini, who was the best defender in the year 2017, was 39 years old. And let's not talk about Fabio Cannavaro, who was equally very old at the age of 33 years, and he was still playing ball for his team. And so age is actually not a factor, but then medically, age is a factor. It's just like buying a car. When you buy a car, for the first day, it's very strong because it just got out of the industry. It's the same with human being. The more you age, the more your body weakens. I mean, for instance, your heart muscles, they become weaker because they've worked over time. And then your joints, I mean, your ligaments, that joins two bones together, they become weaker. There are other parts of your body that becomes very weaker as you grow. And so that's why there is a need for an individual who is growing to not do more exercise, because there is this fear of causing problem because you, the human being, it's already weak because you've aged over time. So now you know that when you grow, you wouldn't be able to give off the energy you used to give when you were young. So that's why the individual consider doing little exercise instead of the maximum he used to do. So I'm very much afraid that when Asamoah Gyan goes on the field, he will be having this fear of hurting, and so he wouldn't give off his maximum. And definitely he can't give off his maximum because he has aged over time, and his ligaments, I mean his heart muscles, are all weak. And so I don't think this is actually the right moment for Asamoah Gyan to think about joining the squad in Qatar 2022. Moving on, you know, there are certain things that actually are sharp when we are young. You know, me personally, I play football and I even watch football, and football is all about reflex. Now, what's important about reflex when you grow is that, you know, you lost your reflexes over time. For instance, when you put a young child, I mean a baby, and you check for certain reflex in the baby, you wouldn't find the same reflex in the adult because it has lost over time. So it's the same way when you grow. Certain things you do in football cannot be done again because the reflexes are gone. And so that's why there is a need for you to sit when you think you can provide those reflexes. Because to kick a ball, you need a reflex. To dribble, you need a reflex. And so I think since these reflexes are all gone, Asamoah Gyan, you should consider sitting whilst Ghanaian squad goes to the Qatar to do what they do best without you. Maybe you can join the coaching team to give them your advice. People do say practice makes perfect, right? But one thing they don't tell you is that time is involved when you really want to practice. I believe Asamoah Gyan has the experience. He has played football for a very long time. But when it comes to this moment where he has to train for these 2 months before he joins the squad for Qatar 2022 World Cup, I don't think it is the right thing to do. It's because, you know, before he trains, I believe I've seen him on the internet training. And I think before someone trains, the person needs much time. You don't just do it overnight. I mean, you should ask Bright about this, and he's the right person to tell you that training does not happen overnight. I mean, you to lose your belly fat does not happen overnight. It needs time. And so 2 months, I think, is very small for Asamoah Gyan to really train for him to be able to join the squad at 2022 World Cup in Qatar. And so I've seen that he's doing some exercises, but I doubt he will be really ready. I mean, even the fact that you are exercising does not only solve your problem. I mean, genetic factors are things to consider when it comes to your health, and I mean playing football physically. Because your environment and genetic factor, they all come together to form you, the individual. So let's say, for instance, you are exercising all right, but you are not eating the right food. It becomes a problem. And that is why if your parents are obese and you get obese, no matter how you exercise, if you were born to be obese, it's very hard for you to lose that weight. And so that is why you would need time eventually. So I don't think in these few months, Asamoah Gyan would definitely be ready for Qatar 2022 World Cup. Now let's talk about physical strength. There's one thing about our body. You know, when your body clock starts, there is no way you can stop it. When you start growing, no matter what you do. When your muscles start growing, they grow. So the likes of maybe Cristiano Ronaldo, Ibrahimovic, those kind of people, they do train overnight. I mean, every day, almost every time, in order to be in shape, in order to keep their muscles working. Not when there is a need to play football in the next 2 months, that's when they start working. And so that's why I'm afraid that Asamoah Gyan might not be medically and physically ready when the time comes for Qatar 2022. And so his exercise, well, I hope it turns out to be something that will help him, I mean, health-wise, but not ready for the 2022 Qatar World Cup. So when it comes to physical strength, there lies injuries as well, because in the case of Asamoah Gyan, when he starts running on the field and he gets injured, yeah, we might change him because we have substitute. But think about it this way: whenever there is a chance where we can't change players and he is in a squad, that means we have to play with him no matter what. And so that's why I think he has to just join the coaching team and give out his experience to the young ones to play the ball on the field instead of him being part of the squad on the field. I play football myself, so I know about football a little bit, where you need the flexibility, you need the stamina, and you really need the speed. Now, when these things you don't have, it becomes a problem. At least have 2 of them, you are okay to go. Now, let's look at Asamoah Gyan, who doesn't have speed because he is obese now, and well, he's training, and hopefully his heart would get younger, hopefully. And then let's look at the fact that we need stamina. Stamina is about you still having the energy you began with from the beginning of the match till the end, which you need a lot of oxygen to actually burn this energy, which when your lungs are not able to accommodate as they used to be when you were young, it becomes very much of a problem. Now let's look at the flexibility. Flexibility has to do with you actually moving your body, I mean your joints. Now these joints, when you get old, it becomes stiff with time. And so when it becomes stiff, it can no longer be flexible as they used to be, and so it becomes a problem. So in the case of Asamoah Gyan, I don't think we have all these traits with him, not even to speak of one. Flexibility might be a problem, and the stamina is a very much of a problem, and I mean speed is a huge problem, and so you really have to consider. And that's why, in my opinion, I think he might not be ready for the 2022 Qatar World Cup. Responsibilities are certain things you can't do away when you grow, no matter what, they will come your way. And so it becomes very difficult for one to focus on something. Well, hopefully Asamoah Gyan is well focused on Qatar 2022 World Cup, and so he's exercising. And I hope that he has placed people at vantage points where they will be able to cover up his responsibilities. But trust me, there are certain things that will still come his way and might disturb him. That is why there is a need for him to actually set aside for the big guys to do their work and then hopefully bring the trophy home to Ghana. Yeah. So these responsibilities are certain things that no matter what, people grow with. And so I think this is one thing that will not make him focus on the training to give off what he really have to give off for the country. I know he wants a revenge, but I think this is not the right moment to think of revenge. Maybe he should organize a friendly match, or maybe, I don't know, a charity match, because for old people, charity match and a friendly match is something they can put themselves in, and not something of that important. I mean, something of this big stage of World Cup 2022 in Qatar. During the interview, he didn't actually compare himself to a player, but then he made mention of a player who retired and came back to play for his national team. He's no other person than Roger Milla. Well, Roger Milla is actually a Cameroonian footballer who played a lot of football, and he did a lot of things for his country. I mean, so in the case of Roger Milla, so there is this situation in which one still plays ball and decides to retire from his national team. So in the year 1988, Roger Milla decided to take a step, hang his boots when it comes to his national team, and still went ahead to make 95 appearances in the same year for Montpellier. Now, what happened after 2 years was that his president called him back to join the national team to play the World Cup. I think that happened in Italy, and that's when they made it to the quarterfinals, and he scored 4 goals, I'm very sure of. So, in a situation like this, he was still in process. He was playing football for his club. Now, even he went ahead after that World Cup, he played another World Cup after 4 years. So with this said, it means he was still playing for his club when he was called back from retirement. So let's look at the case of Asamoah Gyan. Well, Asamoah Gyan, he played Legon City. I mean, he made 5 appearances this season. And I don't know the season, I mean, not this season, the last season, 2021 and 2022 season, where he made 5 appearances. And that's honestly not enough for someone to join, I mean, the FIFA World Cup, that kind of big stage. So I think he has to set himself aside. He shouldn't say Roger Miller did it and so he can do it. When you look at the case of Roger Miller, he still played ball until, even when he was retired, he was still playing ball until he was called by his president to join the national team. So if you really think he can do that, then he needs to put in extra work. And I think 2 months is not enough for him to actually be medically fit to join the national team in Qatar. So this has been it. For you to have something in the comment section, just put in the comment section if you think Asamoah Gyan should join the guys, I mean the squad, for the 2022 World Cup. I mean, all they might need is experience. Asamoah Gyan has all the experience, and I mean, if you put these big guys on the pitch, other players are always afraid of them. And so if you think he should join the squad, just put it in the comment section. And if you think he shouldn't join, just put the reason why you think he shouldn't join. And me personally, I think medically he's not fit, and he will not be fit to be ready for the Qatar 2022 World Cup. So this has been it once again. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please do well to subscribe. Don't forget to click on the notification bell to get notified anytime I upload a new video. And like this video if you really enjoy it. And share it with your family, because